Hi guys, today I'm going to film a video that's going to be a Q&A. That sounded really weird. Today I'm going to film a video and the video is going to be a Q&A. I asked for questions on Twitter and Instagram. I got two separate batches of questions, so I'm going to do two videos. The first one will be Twitter, so I have my hashtag at the ready right now. Basically, if you had a question for me, the idea was that you would hashtag Ask Kyla and then I would pick from that hashtag. So I'm going to attempt to put the questions up on the screen as we go along. We'll see how tech savvy I can be. First one from Emily is, would you ever consider being a full-time YouTuber and quitting your current job, office job? I don't know, maybe, maybe not. I work 2 days a week. Today is one of those days. I start at 11 and finish at 6, and so I have a little bit of time in the morning. As it's kind of working out right now, it's working really well for me. I don't think so, not intentionally. I wouldn't like quit my job. That being said, with the place that I'm at now, I've been under threat of redundancy twice, and I've kind of said, if it happens, if I get made redundant, then I'm not going to go out and find another job. There's various things I love about working in an office as opposed to blogging full-time, and the social aspect is a main thing for me because I don't socially blog. I don't live in London. I don't go to tons of events. I'm sure some people from my vlogs think I do, but I don't. Lots of people that kind of are a bit, they don't have as many commitments and they live closer to the city, go to tons of events all the time, and it's very social. But for me, it's not. My friends are kind of, and even blogging friends are friends that are friends outside of blogging as well. So it's nice to have that kind of routine where you go into the office and you know people. Next question. If you were going to start YouTube, but had to choose something other than beauty, what would you do? That is a great question, and something that Emma ItsEmChannel, have spoken about a lot. And I think that, it's such a weird thing to say, but I would like to do kind of funny videos. I'd like to do like some kind of comedy. I'm not particularly great with planned comedy. I think that I'm funnier when I'm talking to someone else and it's just kind of like off the cuff. I don't think I'd be very good at like sketches type things, but they're the videos that we really, really enjoy, and we've spoken a lot together about like how great it would be to set up something and be able to do that. But I feel like once people know you in a certain box, they can't see you outside of that into something else, do you know what I mean? So I think if I was going to start again, I'd probably start from a funnier place. Because if you tried to do it now, people would be like, oh, she's just trying to be funny. Rachel says, what are your greatest strengths or weaknesses? I think like it's a major strength to be able to answer this question, and I'm really terrible at that. I don't know. I really don't know. This is like an interview question when people ask you and you're like, and I don't know how important, how significant is the answer of this question. I suppose there's like a serious and a frivolous answer. The frivolous answer would be my greatest weakness is shopping. It's not chocolate, it's not food. I mean, I do love pizza, but it's not anything like that. I love to shop. That is my greatest weakness. And when I feel sad or down in the past when terrible things have happened, my initial thought is, let's go shopping. So that's definitely a weakness. But other than that, kind of weakness-wise, personally, got not a lot of perspective when it comes to emotional issues. I can either totally throw myself into them and then I become like a complete mess, or I can totally like shield myself from everything, which is easier. Strengths is harder. On that same kind of tack of the emotional stuff, I think that if, you know, like when something bad happens to you and you're going to be one of two different people. One of the people want to be kind of comforted, they want to be with someone who's just going to let them cry, and that's great. That's like one set of people. If you are belonging to the other set of people, which I feel like I am, where you want someone to make light of the situation and cheer you up, I think that is something I'm quite good at. That is purely because of the other part of my, of my weakness of not being very good with emotion. I find it much easier to make light of a situation and kind of like try and turn it around and make jokes. And so that would be a strength in the right situation, but I don't know. Strengths and weaknesses, that's like the hardest question, Rachel. Amy asks, what are your top 5 luxury makeup must-haves? Must-haves is it's a difficult thing because it's one thing to say, oh, I really like this thing, and it's another thing for it to be like, oh my God, I cannot live without this. Off the top of my head, Estee Lauder Double Wear Foundation is absolutely fantastic, and I probably will always have that in my makeup bag now because it's really the only thing that keeps me okay, oil-ish free. I still need to powder and blot with pretty much everything I've ever tried, but it is the most long-wearing foundation, and it feels really nice. I love it so much. I don't know if I can think of another like makeup item that I would say need, can't replace at the drugstore that is high-end. I really like MAC Stereo Rose, which is kind of, it's a baked blush, but it's somewhere between a highlight. It's beautiful, and I've never found anything at a lower price point that's as nice as that. I found things, you know, similar, but nothing as nice. So maybe that. And then from the skincare part, the Balance Me cleanser that I love, the Balance Me, what is it called? I forget. It's like a gel hot cloth cleanser. Creamy balm, cleansing balm I think it's called. And the Origins Drink Up Intensive Mask. That's 4. Maybe the Nuxe Revdemiol lip balm. I would say more skincare than makeup are items that I think, wow, these are real must-haves, you need to try these. I thought of one, MAC Faux Lipstick. Yeah, that's definitely a must-have. Lucy has a few questions. One, are there any other ventures you want to partake in that we might not know about? Interests, hobbies, or a different path? I don't really know. I've never been someone that had tons of ambition. When I was a kid, I just kind of thought, when I grow up, I want to have kids. And I know that that might sound strange because I don't come across as the most maternal person in the world. I'm not someone that like coos over other people's children, or like talks all day and all night about my kids. I'm not a mummy blogger. I don't talk all about my kids all the time. And so sometimes people kind of take that as, oh, you don't care. And I have had that a lot. People think that because you don't, because I kind of talk a lot about stuff that I like, which is the whole point of this channel, is me giving you recommendations. You know, I've tried this, I've tried that, I've bought this, I've bought that for me, then it might kind of seem like a bit of a conflict. But the only thing I ever really wanted, that I knew I wanted, was to have children. And so I feel like I've kind of not only done that, but they're getting older and I'm getting back into my life because I did it quite young. Ella, I had her on when I was 19. And so Ella's 10 now, and most people, when they have a 10-year-old, they're much older than me, and they've already kind of accomplished some of their things. So I did that, and this is something I found along the way, YouTube, and now I feel like I'm getting to the point in my life where maybe I'm thinking about, what do I want to do with the rest of my life? And I honestly don't know. I mean, YouTube has the potential to open some doors to things that I might be interested in. I've always been interested in writing. I loved the idea of writing for a magazine when I was a kid, but obviously you have to go to kind of university and do various things to do those things now, you know, to get journalism qualifications, and that was never going to happen. And I don't want to say that was not going to happen because I'd had Ella. I didn't even do my A-levels. I left school because I wanted to earn money at a pretty young age. I would love to do something in the media, whether it be in print. I like the idea of like presenting and stuff like that, but I don't know whether or not I'd be very good at it. And hobbies wise, I like photography. I like filming. Do you know, on an easier level, on an easier to achieve level, I'd quite like to be a wedding videographer, or just a videographer in general. Someone that, or like, even like music videos, that would be so cool. I love filming and editing things that are a bit more creative. So I suppose that's something that potentially would be a hobby down the line. The only thing with wedding videography is that it's such a lot of pressure. That's one person's day and you can't retake it. So potentially that would be, I like the idea, but I don't know whether I'd want all of that responsibility. But I do like the idea of creating kind of more creative editorial style videos. But I don't have anything in the way of a hobby. I read occasionally, but not all that much anymore. I don't do a tremendous amount. No, Lucy, no hobbies from me. She also asks, do you think it was fate, what you're doing now, YouTube and blogging, or do you feel like you were just riding the wave? It's definitely just happened. Obviously I set up my channel, I started making videos. It wasn't like someone did that for me. But I had no anticipation of what it could be. And I am just kind of doing it and seeing what happens. I have no real plan. People say, you know, where are you going to be in 5 years? I have no idea. I wouldn't have told you I'd be here in 5 years. 5 years ago, my life was completely different. You can't guess and you can't plan for life. You could try, but it never really works out that way. And so I have no idea how this happened. It was a hobby, probably the first hobby that I really stuck to. Lucy's last question, I believe. Does it ever feel surreal when you factor in followers, Twitter, Instagram, subscribers and views? So it's kind of the similar question. You say that, but I mean, in the grand scheme of things, I'm still a very, very small fish. You know, it depends on who you compare me to, but it does feel a bit strange sometimes. But because I didn't have, like, it would feel strange, I suppose, if I'd had things like Twitter and I had a YouTube account and I'd had Instagram and things like that prior to making my YouTube channel. But I didn't really. Kind of Twitter was in its early stages and Instagram, I don't even remember when. Instagram started after I started my YouTube channel. So I've never had like a personal Twitter account, I've never had these things. So for me, the follower count is normal because that's what, I mean, it's really cool when I get new followers and when I hit like a milestone, but I'm not comparing it to like a normal personal account, if you know what I mean. I set up an account for Marnie the other day. Marnie, my little dog, who's like sleeping in a cupboard over there. That's where he lives. Sounds terrible, but he's like Manny Potter. His little bed and stuff is in there because he loves it. Anyway, I set up a Twitter account for him or an Instagram account for him the other day. He got like 400 followers and people were going, how is this? And I just went, well, because I don't know. And I suppose I have a bit of a strange perspective on it because I've only ever seen it from a YouTuber's perspective. I've never seen those kind of social media accounts from a personal perspective. So followers and things is a bit of a strange one. But it does feel surreal now that so many people watch my videos because a couple of years ago, even a couple of years ago, it was such a much smaller number. And it is kind of picking up speed. It's been a slow burn when it comes to subscribers. I mean, I've been doing this for, it'll be 6 years in April, so 5.5 years. So it's not something that kind of blew up out of nowhere, which maybe is again why I don't feel like it's as weird. Whereas if I just started making videos and suddenly I'd have like a viral video or something and I had a million subscribers, it might feel strange. But because it's been quite a slow burn, I feel like it's growing slowly and I've had time to adjust to it. Okay, Sophie asks, if you could wear one makeup brand for the rest of your life, drugstore or high-end, what would it be and why? I was trying to think about this the other day. It's a really, really difficult question, but I think it would be Maybelline because I think that they do the most products that I enjoy. I think a couple of years ago that would have been Revlon. Revlon still, it could be them, but I think it would be Maybelline because they do foundations I like, foundations and powders, probably concealers. I don't think I have any. Oh no, even the Maybelline, the twist up one, the Age Rewind, that's Maybelline too. So my whole face of makeup I could easily do with Maybelline happily. Brows might be trickier. My favourite mascara is Maybelline. I'm sure I could cover everything up. The lipsticks from Maybelline are great. Maybelline, definitely, definitely. I don't think there's any other brand that I feel like I could comfortably get everything from. It's just brows, that's the only thing I would struggle with. Laura from What Laura Loves, if your life was a book. I read this question the other day, Laura, and I was like, oh, how morbid. If your life was a book, how would you want it to end? Like, how do I want to die? What? How would you want it to end? Happily? I don't know the answer to that question, Laura. I mean, when I first put this up, she was like, oh, I can never think of any questions when these things come up. That was a doozy of a question, but I really don't know. I would like to end, you know, like a Nora Ephron film. I want to be like surrounded by grandchildren on a big white bed. That's what I want it to end. I want it to be like that with like Hans Zimmer. Is he Hans Zimmer or is he Hans Zimmerman? I think it's Hans Zimmer. I don't know. That guy, the Nora Ephron score guy, the composer. I want him to like score my end. That would be great. Score my end, that sounds awful. If you could only choose one lipstick to wear for the rest of your life, what would it be and why? Oh my god, that's hard. Again, I'm gonna probably choose Max Faux just because it's the most flattering on my skin tone. It goes with everything. And I couldn't choose a really, really bold colour because you couldn't wear that every single day, but I could wear Max Faux. Lauren asks, which beauty trends, if any, are you hoping to be revived? And what trends are you glad that have disappeared? I can't really think of anything I want to be revived. I mean, I wear my blush like here, 80s style, so I've revived that all on my own. That would probably be it. What trends are you glad that have disappeared? Contouring seems to be on its way out. I'm sure it won't be out forever, but strobing is in, which is like adding light rather than adding dark. So you're adding more light than shade, and I way prefer strobing and contouring. So that's the only thing I would say I'm glad is kind of slightly fading out. Sean Williams, if you could recommend a good high-end foundation with full coverage for dry skin. That's really tricky. MAC recently launched their water weight foundation, which is kind of like a droplet foundation, and that's quite buildable. I wouldn't say that it's super high coverage. I can't think of any really high coverage foundation that would be great for dry skin, to be quite honest. I can think of a couple of high-end foundations that would be good for dry skin, but not full coverage. You'd probably be looking at something like Dermablend or something like that, I would say, which is super full coverage. And I think that's it for the Twitter questions. Hopefully I have covered them all and I've not missed anybody out. If you've got any questions, then I might do kind of a YouTube follow-up, like a third video, so leave them below. But I hope you've enjoyed this. I really like doing Q&As because it's really interesting to see like what you guys want to know, but I like watching them as well. It's a bit different, isn't it? And it's just like total random topics that come from nowhere. So yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this, and I will see you guys in the next one. But I'll put up some different videos in the meantime, so it's not like Q&A, but I'll probably have the second part up next week, which will be Instagram.